It's exciting to come your way again this week on the Green Living Chat. My name is David and I'm your host on this podcast. This week is a special one because all eyes are on Glasgow as the UK hosts the 26th UN Climate Change Conference of the Parties, known as COP26. So the UK is hosting every nation to reach agreement on how to tackle the climate change issue in the world. So leaders from all around the world, including thousands of negotiators and government representatives in business and citizens, according to the COP26 website, are present to talk about one issue. So negotiations are still going until 12th of November 2021, and we really can't wait to have discussions after this summit is over to see where we stand and the promises that our leaders have made to tackle climate change, and now we can hold their words for it. But on today's podcast, we are bringing you part 2 of last week's 2-part series conversation with ShaQ Express in Ghana, talking about how the courier and delivery industry can be sustainable. So in last week's episode, Anthony Owusu-Ansah, who is the CEO of ShaQ Express, joined me on the podcast to discuss the status of delivery and logistics industry in Ghana, as well as conversations on how it is happening all over the world. Again, Michael Rather, who is the founder of Industry 5.0, joined us also to add his voice on how the industry looks worldwide. So part 1 of this conversation is available on all podcast platforms, and you can dive into the show notes as well to find links to listen to it on our website. And on today's episode, we are continuing our conversations with some of the milestones ShaQ Express has been able to attain since it started operating in 2019, the loopholes in sustainability when it comes to this industry, and what are some of the sustainable alternatives they can adapt in this industry, and more issues concerning packaging, single use, and the milk run system. So I really can't wait to dive into this conversation, but we want to also give shout outs to Emmanuel Brown Hagan, who joined on this episode. So grab a coffee and let's dive into this conversation. You are listening to the Green Living Chat podcast, a podcast where we discuss emerging environmental issues around the world and to find sustainable solutions. I'm your host, David Owusu-Ansah. We use this platform to support environmental related initiatives, researches, and projects. This podcast is brought to you by EcoWamet Solutions in Ghana with a mission to going back to green. So join us on this train with new episodes this and every Sunday. Here we go.
Actually, I'm happy to hear that it's a continuous process at ShaQ Express training. It's very impressive. David, do you have something to add?
Yeah, it's just a follow-up to that. I actually wanted to ask this because, this industry, it's sort of male dominated, right? So I want to ask if, for the past few months that you've been working, have you considered, trying to get the minorities mainly on board?
Yeah, so as of now, we have one female dispatch rider, Juliana.
Oh, that's nice.
And
That's nice.
yes, for us, we try to balance the gender. Juliana is a student at UDS, and on vacation, she comes to ride and make some money. And she's not the first female dispatch rider we've had. She's about I think, second or third. And we do this to encourage them to also do this part of job, because there's a stereotype that is for only male, and the nature of the job is they target as masculine. But we have Juliana, who's in a fantastic job, and she delivers packages the same way she picked them, and she is so customer centered and very, very good at what she does. And one of the things that we put in place to promote some of these gender equality is to, I know you say this is not fair, but we've upped the salary of the female riders by 20%.
As a motivation.
Wow.
Yeah, as a motivation to
Oh, that's
get them,
good.
because some females can actually ride, but just for the fear of stigmatization or the stereotype game they don't want to find themselves in, they don't come around to ride. But we want to, at ShaQ Express, we want them to ride. We actually want them to come and ride for us because they have this feminine touch that they add to the delivery that makes it sweet. Women or ladies who female tend to attach a little extra care to whatever they do. So even in terms of handling the bike, handling the packages, they add this extra care. It's natural. If you see how a male rider goes about delivery, and if you see how a female rider goes, it is very evident. You don't need any magician to tell. It's very evident. Yeah. So this is why we want to encourage more females to join our team and do the delivery because we preach swift, secure, and reliable. The security here is key. So we want to also work with people who can deliver on these three promises that we've made to customers.
Speaking about the females, the best truck driver ever I met in 30 years was a female rider.
That's right.
She can manage a truck in such a narrow places than the men generally refuse to drive there.
Yeah.
And she was really great.
Wow.
What I like about the idea, and generally it's a Saudi Arabia example, because the Islam and so on, generally, they pick up the female rider. So you can, on the order, you can pick it up as you as a female, you can choose a female rider to deliver your package, which
Nice
is quite
idea.
interesting way, which reduce generally the risk if she deliver in some location and so on. But this is quite interesting and can be the add-on to your services. You can choose a female rider, the best, of course, as a female.
I just
customer.
wrote it down.
It's not my idea, but it's not a bad idea because I do fully agree what you said. The females all the time put something more on it. And that's important.
I'm very happy to hear when we have like minorities in the term of this male-dominated industry. You have a woman doing so well and actively participating in everything. Sustainability is not only about just planting a tree or anything. It's also building a society which women are inclusive. So I'm actually really happy to get to know that there is a way to attract more women to come into the industry. Cheers, Anthony, for putting this together in your company. And Anthony, to move away from the female and the male-dominated stuff, I actually want to know, have ShaQ Express achieved any milestone? I mean, did you set some milestone to achieve some things for us to know that, okay, in this time we've done this, this has gone on. Can you please share with us?
One of my beliefs is that there's nothing that is impossible and there's nothing that is the same for everything. It's not a casting stone. But with the milestones, so as individual and as a business, you always have a target. The path to you achieving the targets might not be easy, but it's smooth. And I'm one person, I demand a lot from myself more than anything. So I have my personal KPIs aside the business objectives. It's not a mind-blowing milestones, but it's these small wins that we really do appreciate since our inception. Now, we started with 4 motorbikes. We ended the first month with 6 motorbikes. We ended the second month with 8 motorbikes. We ended the third month with 12 motorbikes. Then in the fourth month, we went for bank loan to add 10 additional motorbikes. Every month, we endeavor to add at least 1 motorbike. For the past 2-3 months, though, we haven't been able to, but that is one of the objectives of growing our fleet size, to add at least 1 motorbike every month. We have failed to achieve that objective for the past 3 months, but It's not the end of it. So that's our first milestone, to continuously add at least one vehicle to our fleet side. The second milestone was to be able to upscale the business, add value to our services. By value addition, we mean that how can we make it easier or better for our customers to use our services? And that's how we came up with the mobile app, where we had a percentage of our customers who wanted convenience, who were tired of calling and call waiting and stressing. They wanted to be able to track where the motorbike is. They wanted to know who is delivering to them. They wanted some visibility on the service. In fact, next month will be exactly 1 year since we launched the mobile app. We launched it last year, October. We started developing it somewhere in July, and we finished and launched it in last year, October. And it will interest you to know that as we speak, with limited resources, with very low budget, we have at least 7,000 users on our mobile app.
Wow.
Yes, we have daily about an average of 430 people on the app daily.
It's growing.
Peak periods, we have about 1,110, I think so, yeah. And sometimes I look at this number like, wow. The problem we have now is just be able to meet this demand. Now we have a problem with supply, meeting the demand. But for the mobile app, we struggled to even get 2 people to even use the app when we launched it. Then we kept advertising on our social media, so the usage grow. And we have data to show for some of these things, because we have added Google Analytics to our system to able to give us insight. And month on month, we measured the metrics to make sure that we're on the right path. The last time I checked these numbers, I was a bit like, wow. I was like, we are doing something right. Yeah, so that was a major milestone personally for me, because I was surprised to see that figures. I mean, I was monitoring every day, but there was a gap in my monitoring for about a week or so. Then I said, you know what, let me check the total users that we have. Let me see the retention rate. Let me see the acquisition rate. Let me see the daily usage. You can see all these things there, and you know how the trend is going. And that's a milestone for us. It means that we are doing something right for our customers to be happy using our services. We are looking at how going forward, we will have to invest in our mobile app, invest in our fleet side to be able to serve the 1,000+ people who sometimes come on the mobile app. The other milestone is brand affinity. Over the months, we have won more hearts than we've lost. And like Michael said he walked out of the meeting when it's a prize game. You know, Ghanaians are price sensitive. So some people were not able to meet up with our operational cost, because then we're interested to know, since we started operations, we've not made a profit even in a month. It's been month-on-month losses. And even though we are not giving up, we know that someday we will get there. But we cannot offload all our operational costs on the customers. And because of that, we have to meet customers halfway, where our prices is good for them, and it will not break us completely. I was thinking that because we find ourselves in a price-sensitive market, we will lose more than we will gain. But interestingly, we have a lot of customers who are happy with our services, that even when we go for a break, we went for 1 week break last week, and it was not good. So we've advised ourselves that this break, we have to stop going on break, because then we have people who constantly depend on us to run their business. And that is also a milestone for us that we are very proud of. The last milestone is the team. Trust me, it is not easy getting dedicated, smart, happy people to work with. And if you have even one person who will go the extra mile to make sure that the client is happy, trust me, you are blessed. So we have a team now that is very happy doing what they are doing, excited about it. We have on the back end staff, we've been able to reduce the attrition rate, so that the people who are there now, people who have stayed more than 6 months, and they're happy doing what they are doing. But before, you know how people are with startups are very demanding, so they don't want to stay, they are stressed, they leave you high and dry, and you have to replace and all that. But I can confidently say that now, for the back end, we have staff who are happy doing what they're doing, and they are committed and go the extra mile. We still have a problem with the riders because they come and go like that, but it's still a work in progress. And it's also a target and objective that we need to achieve. But these are the milestones, and God being so good, we are still trying to achieve more and gradually and steadily grow the business.
It is quite interesting to listen to this story generally and to all these milestones and similar. I had a question because you said there is more demand than you can cover.
Yes.
Have you already started negotiation with your competitors to include in your system?
Yes.
How do they reflect to your offer?
So most of them have not accepted it. It's a problem here, but we'll talk about that later. But we have some of them who are on board to also help us serve the clients. But majority of them have not. About 95% of them have not accepted it. Yeah, I'm telling you, partnership is critical to every business survival. But in an environment where everybody wants to do their own, and it's also because the market is probably big. So then they also have the customer that they also are struggling to serve. And logistics is capital intensive. You need a lot of money to run a logistics business. So we've engaged a lot of other logistics company who we think will want to help us serve our customers. Some of them, we are still working with them. Others too, they haven't still responded to us.
Because generally, I do expect that the situation will be same like in the other countries. If I ask them to help me, they don't care. But if I come with the offer, I can increase your sales and your turnover. I think is the best way, because if you do it this way, and they don't do it for you, they generally don't care about you. They do it for them. But the question is how to put it right and to be understood right. And the question is, do the others use an app as well?
We have some that use an app, and we have some that run strictly traditional.
So your app can be the advantage for them to reach more clients, we can say, or to give the existing clients increase a range of service.
Agreed.
It can be quite interesting. Okay. It was just a question to this. And of course, I was not happy that you spoke only about increased motorcycles. Even it grows so nice. So I hope the next time there will be a unicycle as well in the team, the electric one, of course, because it's sustainability. So
yes, it's one of my biggest milestone now to achieve. I have made some efforts to try and procure electric bikes. And I think we will get there. Other than that, I can just go ahead and speak to it because I need electric bikes, to be honest. The cost of fuel in this country is crazy.
This is what I am not talking about. I'm not talking about a bike. I'm talking about show you what I'm talking about.
Michael has this unicycle. Yeah, that one.
Oh, okay.
This device has one wheel, 50 kilometer per hour speed, and on single charge, you can go up to 100 kilometers.
Wow.
And generally, because it's so small, you are much more flexible in the city. So the speed of delivery can be higher. I am riding myself. I have over 50,000 kilometers on these devices.
So, Mike, do you manufacture this bike yourself?
No, everything is manufactured in China. Currently, 2 developments are for manufacturing in Europe.
Can you share this contact with me so I can start engaging?
Of course, that's not a problem.
Please do. I would need this because this is something I need to do. Because we actually have a concept. We actually have a concept of this that we tried, but we did not. So I think this will work. I will be very happy to get a contact. I'll speak to them, get to know the price quotations and all that. And I'm sure in our next conversation like this, I will proudly tell you that something I've implemented.
Hi there, just a quick one. So if you're enjoying this conversation, why don't you just share this episode with a friend of a friend? And let's get more people to listen to this episode. The urgency of climate change and humans reducing our impact and footprint on the environment is a necessity. And these are the conversations we need to promote. You can also help us by giving us a star rating or sharing your comments on whichever platform you are listening to this episode. Visit our website and our social media platforms in the show notes and get interactive with us, or send us an email at glcpodcast@ecowametsolutions.com. So thank you in advance. Let's get back into this conversation. Wow, that's super. Let's dive in, since you guys have already started talking about sustainability and all that. I want us to come from the direction of how the industry is impacting the environment, and how whatever the current situation of the environment is also affecting the industry. So maybe, Michael, I would like to get your thoughts on this, since you're very abreast with what is happening worldwide. How do you see this industry impacting the environment? What are some of the things you think they can do to reduce their impact on the environment, especially when it comes to, let's say, packaging, transportation, and all that?
Generally, it is important to see the overall picture. One big share of the damage is done by the carbon emissions going out of the cars and motorcycles and so on. You can reduce it by changing into clean. It can be electric, it can be even standard bike, whatever, clean, let's call it clean. But the second you just touch, it's quite important, the packaging itself, because I think that the majority of food, for example, you spoke about 62%, is being delivered in single-use containers. Because this is a common standard, or this was a common standard. Just shortly before the pandemic in Europe and in US, they started to switch to returnable. What is interesting, in India, the food is frequently delivered in returnable things, like a metal dishes generally and inside, and they return it. And they return it clean. It's quite interesting. I was surprised that it is in India, but it is so. And what is only missing, that they are using something which you cannot collapse. And especially, I can show you here, it's one of the development invented in Bulgaria, just as an example. This is origami bottle. It's generally a Japanese idea, but they did not invent it. Bulgarian invented. And you see, if it's empty, it has this size.
I see.
Wow.
And if you imagine a food container, which can work similar, but when it's empty, you stack much more on one place. It can be very convenient, and it's not a general space issue to bring it back. So this development is running. One of the biggest issues is generally in a system is single use. The single use, because you see, I am drinking from plastic a bottle. Many will say I landed in hell, but in fact, I don't use it a single time. When it's empty, I fill it with water and water my flowers in here. And I refill it again. So the bottle is not damaged after first use. It is not. It can be utilized. And this is the one of the topic which is generally being ignored. And the last point, which I will point out, especially for delivery services when we are speaking about it. I made just last week a poll on LinkedIn. How many delivery services offer return? So they are in both ways, like we call it milk run systems. They have something to deliver in both directions. 99% does not do that, which means your driver ride full in one direction and empty in the other. That's one thing which has to change. You have to be more communicative. You have to open. It will be completely a different discussion, and with different people, which needs to transfer something from the destination to other things. So you plan the routes at the moment you plan the deliveries, but you generally don't plan the full rounds. And that can be quite interesting. And with the help of GPS and tracking, you said you collect a lot of the data and so on, you can even predict these. There are existing tools like digital twins, for example, which generally helps you to predict the behavior. there exists a system like advanced planning system, which are far from you, but generally these can tell you what your clients will buy tomorrow based on the statistics which is collected. And what is fascinating, in the years of development, the accuracy of these systems can reach 99%. It's unbelievable. They really tell you when you will need your next bread. When I will not work with these people, I will not trust these numbers. But some businesses in here, especially for medicine, food, they are started to use these systems and they improve unbelievable. They reduce their environmental impact. So it looks like these things are not directly connected, but it's not true. Logistics is the overall movement and everything. You mentioned it at the very beginning. Generally, logistics is everything what you do. You wake up wrongly, your whole day will be stress.
Yeah.
You wake up in time and everything will be fine. You don't need to hurry. You will never catch the time, but you can be friend with the time. That's very different relationship. And if you teach this and if you implement this in your business, not a single minute will be wasted. And that's what Anthony and his company has to achieve, because this will be the competitive advantage towards the competitors, not the price. That will be different.
Well, I would just like to ask Anthony if there are some of the things that Michael mentioned and you would like to implement, but I think Michael has already touched on, like, some of the things that in sustainability that you can implement and all that. But just for us to wrap up quickly, there are lots of competitors, as you said already, in the system, and we already mentioned some of the things that you're doing ahead of time. What are some of the things we should expect from ShaQ Express in the future? Are you expecting any collaborations soon? Which areas are you open to for collaborations, and what should investors look out for when they're going to collaborate with you?
So for ShaQ Express, our focus is to grow. We want to grow our base, we want to serve our customers and then give them the same quality of service, win more of the market share. We are open for conversations in terms of partnership. I like the idea of the unicycle thing. Michael, send the link, check it out, and I'll look forward to implementing that. We're not only restricting ourselves to motorbike as well. I'm looking to electric bike space and other form of sustainable ways of still delivering to our customers. Because at the end of the day, we should be able to serve our customers without any negative impact on our environment, on future generations. For us, we are very flexible and we are very open to any form of conversation that will help us grow, help us serve our customers, and that have a positive impact on our environment.
Yeah, I actually wanted to mention this to you when Michael was talking about the electric unibike. There is this new company, I forgot the name, it's called Locket or something like that. They have started bringing like very safe cabinets. They are placing them at vantage point. Yeah, it's called Locker. Oh, perfect.
They are partners. Yeah. We partnered last year.
I saw it and I was really happy about it. So I'm glad that you're already working with them. It's a very interesting technology. I think it's really, really, really cool.
They're my good friends. So yeah,
perfect. That's good. I'm not gonna go into that. Michael has a lot of experience in this area and has been interacting with people all over the world. I want you to give your last words when it comes to this industry. What do you think the industry should look into more? People that are coming, what do you want to say in relation to Industry 5.0?
Maybe I will surprise you. Look for the sky, because you will see soon airships going and serving as a warehouse and deliveries depots. Yeah. It's a reality. In 4 continents, it is being prepared. And one airship will carry up to 600 tons. So you can imagine it's a very different type of logistics. But if we stay on ground, it is important that cooperation starts instead of generally competing to each other. There must be cooperation, and not only between the delivery companies, but the range must be much bigger, because as you mentioned at the very beginning of this communication, everyone needs logistics. And that's the point. The only people do not know that they can use you for what they are doing. This will create this environment in which, like the nature, we will not waste our time, our duty, and whatever. We stop wasting. But because at the moment everybody is, it's only me, it's only my company, it's only my profit, it's wrong. Until we really start to work like this, it will not be good, not be good. And as I am very happy that Anthony liked the idea about the teaching the clients to plan, because this is something which will make a big difference. And of course, we go in the very opposite direction that Amazon and all the others. Don't fear about it. Look at me. Industry 5.0 goes in very, very opposite direction that all the others.
Yeah.
But right now, everybody speaks about it.
Yeah.
And it's not because of the money which has been invested in a marketing and so on. When your clients will be satisfied, you will not need marketing, because they will tell to the others. What you need to be sure that you are able to fulfill their needs. So too fast grow, it's not healthy. Grow one by one. It's better. You make up your name hardly. Every day you have to fight for it. But you can lose it in 1 second when somebody says they are not good.
Yeah.
So that's the point which I will say. And this is the way how delivery and logistic must go. Even if some people say it's very different direction, on my opinion, this is the only right direction.
Super. Anthony, about this industry that you're in, earlier you mentioned about some of the challenges that you guys are facing and things that you wish that you could change about it. But also you have hopes in getting into sustainability. But generally, if you have just one thing to change in this industry about how operations are done, and you had the chance and you had the power to make that specific change, what would you change in this industry?
Change. I will look into the regulatory space. Yeah, I'll look into that space. How we can equip every business and at every level on how to be able to drive a sustainable courier industry. As we speak now, I know some colleagues who are having issues in the industry. They are either unable to compete, they are either overwinning, or they are having
Is that a problem?
issues. It is a problem. Or they are having issues with other aspects of operation in terms of this. There's a police as well in our space here. For example, today we have a lot of the riders who don't have rider's license. So sometimes you have to actually help the rider to acquire a license. And it's also because they don't have the capital to. And I think the postal and courier license can do some magic in this space, not to necessarily get them a license. They can help from the point of even onboarding. They can sanitize the space from the businesses to the riders, or the riders who actually use the motorbike, or even the drivers of the vehicle. I'm not putting my thoughts right, but literally, that's the space I would want to look into, the Postal and Courier Commission. I think that they can go a long way to drive a sustainable business.
Actually, that's the essence of the question, because
yes,
no matter what, everyone has to sit down and think about this question for a while, because the idea is to get the deep thoughts and ideas out. But on that note, I really want to thank you guys for making time for this conversation. It was really fun. I learned a lot of things out of it. I just want to say that I'm really looking forward to the next step of ShaQ Express, because I think your idea is super, and you have the zeal. You're young and you're willing to accept change and willing to, adapt. And the most important thing, I have to assure you, the world is going in a different direction. And I'm really super excited that you want to incorporate sustainability, because very soon I think that is going to be something that is really, really important that we cannot do without. And that's actually something that Michael and I are advocating on continuously. It's very, very important that we have to pay our quota to what the impact that we're having on the environment. So I'm super glad and very excited to the next step. Of course, we should be seeing you're in your company as a national career. And I know for sure that it's going to come to pass if you don't lose hope in this. Please don't give up on this, because it's a super great idea. I don't know if Brown has anything to say. We can say goodbye to our guest.
Actually, I'll just add a few words. It's quite impressive and quite a very informative section we had, because when people think about sustainability, they only think about recycling, putting trees here and there, picking plastic bottles and waste and stuff. But this section actually let us know that the society, the community, the supply chain management, they are all aspects of sustainability. And then what I would say to you, Anthony, is, I can see there's power, there's more room to do a lot of things. You have good ideas, you have future plans. The model is amazing. So we hope to see you going forward, employing a lot of women and minorities in the sector, like Juliana. And then to Michael, who has a lot of experience in this field, it's very amazing to have you here to share with us and to also motivate a lot of listeners. As David said, younger people between the ages of 18 to 20s, early and late 20s are listening to us. So it's also a good inspiration to them to help them move on with their journey. Thank you guys for coming on the show. And then I think that is it. David.
Michael, you want to say something?
Yeah, just please do not repeat the age of your listeners, because I feel like a granddad already. And it's better if I feel crazy and young instead. But if they are of the age of my daughter, I don't feel so comfortable.
Yeah, you're getting motivated by your story,
I know. I would like to say, I am sure that Anthony Company will be and will achieve the goals, because from what he says, from the way how he is doing step by step, really not jumping over something to be the billionaire the next day, he's doing right. This is the sustainable way how to make the business. And I would be very happy to support. So even if you look for the unicycle, we will select the right one. Because otherwise the sellers will sell you what is good for them. I can recommend what will be good for your riders, because I am riding myself and having such 7 years of experience. So let's build it together. And that's exactly the bridge which I am very happy the podcast, Green Living Chats podcast, generally deliver. It does not matter that I am sitting in Czech Republic and what. We have Skype, we have Zoom, we have whatever, and we can do it. So let's do it together. Let's do it free of waste and wasting in all its forms. And all of you, stay safe, please.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you.
Thank you guys for making this work, and I really appreciate you. See you soon.
Thank you guys.
See you.
Bye. See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Green Living Chats podcast. This initiative is to educate and create awareness on things that really matter. We look forward to hearing your thoughts and comments as we get interactive on our social media platforms at Owusu-Ansah-Pt Solutions on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. If you would like to be part of these conversations, contact us via email at glcpodcast@owusu-Ansah-Pt or see our contact details in the show notes. See you on the next episode, and remember, live green.